Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone 13 Pro ended up just coming out, so let's go and compare it against the iPhone 6s Plus and see which specific iPhone you should go and pick up. And I'll definitely tell you the iPhone 13 Pro is the better iPhone in every single area. I mean, it looks better, it feels better, it's definitely the better one. The 6s Plus, the main thing it has going for it is that it's still supported with software. Other than that, these things are really in two different ballparks, and the 13 Pro is definitely, I think, a perfect upgrade coming from the iPhone 6s Plus. Now, side by side, there's also a little massive difference. As you can see, the iPhone 6s Plus has a really big 5.5-inch IPS panel. It still is a pretty big panel. However, the phone feels so much bigger because of the amount of bezels around it. Even though the iPhone 13 Pro has a bigger panel at that 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, it still feels like a much smaller phone. And that's how good these phone panels are, because they just feel so much smaller in the hand, but they're much bigger. Way less bezel. You have the notch here, Touch ID here. I still prefer Touch ID, but the iPhone 13 Pro, it still looks pretty good still. You have a ProMotion panel on the iPhone 13 Pro as well, so you have 120 Hz on this phone, which is beautiful. I love having that type of capability. So when it comes down to it, the iPhone 13 Pro looks so much better. Now, in terms of the thinness and thickness between the two, you can see that the iPhone 13 Pro is definitely much thicker than the iPhone 6s Plus. It's definitely a really good looking phone. I really like it a lot. It feels much more premium than the iPhone 6s Plus as well. So that's another really massive difference between these two. And on the back, we have a little bit of a different setup as well. So with the iPhone 13 Pro, triple camera setup, wide ultra-wide telephoto lens with a LiDAR sensor, beautiful frosted glass back with wireless charging and MagSafe capability here. With the iPhone 6s Plus, that standard aluminum back, which still feels pretty good. I mean, it doesn't feel like a cheap phone at all. Single camera setup, no wireless charging though, lightning port, headphone jack at the bottom of the 6s Plus, power button on this side, IP certification only on the iPhone 13 Pro. The 6s Plus doesn't technically have any water resistance, at least certified. So in terms of the outside, that pretty much covers it up for the most part. There's really not a whole else that's like completely different between the two. Now, another big difference is the software. So with the iPhone 6s Plus, this phone came out, back in 2015, so it's definitely not a brand new phone anymore. And because of that, of where it is now, I'm pretty sure it's going to end off with iOS 15. I was pretty surprised that it even got iOS 15 in the first place. So this thing is pretty much outdated when it comes down to it, in my opinion. But the iPhone 13 Pro, but this phone's still getting support. With the iPhone 13 Pro, it's going to be supported for a very long time. It's just getting started. So this phone probably won't even be done getting support until like 2027 or something like that. That's probably when the last time we're going to hear about this phone. So in terms of that, I'll definitely tell you, software-wise, the iPhone 13 Pro is going to annihilate the iPhone 6s Plus. That's a massive thing to keep in mind. So if you want a phone that's going to last you the longest amount of time, the iPhone 13 Pro is by far the better way to go for sure. So in terms of that, that covers it up here. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these iPhones. The iPhone 6s Plus has that Apple A9 chip inside of it with 2 GB of RAM, the first iPhone to bring 2 gigs of RAM, where the iPhone 13 Pro has that Apple A15 bondage chip inside of it with 6 gigs of RAM. So let's go see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, there we go. Hopping out of all these applications in the background, you can see iPhone 6s Plus is cleared, iPhone 13 Pro is cleared as well. So let's get into it. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And the 13 Pro definitely far faster here. Music, 3, 2, 1. And again, the 13 Pro is faster. iPhone 6s Plus a little bit behind. Apple TV, 3, 2, 1. And you can even see with the 6s Plus, there was such a noticeable glitch there. I mean, it was pretty insane. With the 6s Plus, a little notification. And then we finally get into that ad. Such a massive difference between the two. That was pretty crazy. Mail, 3, 2, 1. Again, 13 Pro, so much faster. Clock, 3, 2, 1. Again, 13 Pro, noticeable difference there. Now, funny enough, if we try an application like settings, also look at this difference, 3, 2, 1. And there I kind of even glitched up clicking on them, but still the 13 Pro was the faster one there. So we're still seeing massive differences between the two. App Store, 3, 2, 1. And this is just stock applications. This isn't even third-party apps yet. And look how long it takes to get into the App Store. In my opinion, this is longer than usual. I don't even think it takes that long to do it. So this may be like kind of an over-exaggerating kind of, test. But that's still a pretty crazy difference between the two, if I'm going to be honest. And between this little test right here, it's kind of the same thing going on too, so it's not really that big of a difference. Hopping out of this specific app, let's go into get into some of these third-party applications that I typically have. And funny enough, I don't even have any third-party apps here. They're all pretty much deleted, which is crazy. So this is pretty much a stock bare bones phone, and we're still experiencing some big differences for sure. We can try their calculators, 3, 2, 1. And again, even there was a little slight difference, nothing crazy. Calendar, 3, 2, 1. Again, iPhone 13 Pro is faster. Hopping out at this one, let's go into their cameras, 3, 2, 1. And even there, I glitched up a little bit, but I still think the 13 Pro probably would have been the faster one. We can try compass 3.2. Oh, let's not try this. Let's go like contacts 3.2.1. Again, iPhone 13 Pro faster there. Hopping out of this one, we can try files 3.2.1. Again, iPhone 13 Pro was the faster one. Hopping out of this one, we can try something like health 3.2.1. iPhone 13 Pro again is the faster one. Hopping out of this one, we can go into iTunes Store 3.2.1. 13 Pro faster. 6S Plus definitely taking its time. No problem with that. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into, we can try News 3.2.1. Again, 13 Pro is faster. 6S Plus did have to load into it a little bit later, so there's not a problem with that. Let's just go and hop out of this one. Let's go into Photos 3.2.1. 13 Pro again is the faster one. iPhone 6S Plus is a little bit behind. Let's go into Reminders 3.2.1. Again, massive differences between these two. So I think ultimately, I don't want to embarrass the 6S Plus too much. I still love this phone. I think it had a lot of capability when it first came out, but there are some massive differences between these devices. And I think it's actually pretty crazy to see how well of a performing phone the iPhone 6S Plus is, or how well of a performing phone the iPhone 13 Pro is over the 6S Plus. So in terms of the speed comparison, it pretty much went exactly as I expected. Now let's go and do a camera comparison, small one between the two. So on the back, like I mentioned, we pretty much have the same exact thing going on. We have a triple camera setup on the iPhone 13 Pro, wide angle lens, ultra wide, and a telephoto lens. The iPhone 6S Plus has a single 12 megapixel wide angle lens, and look at the difference in the size of those lenses. Right there will pretty much tell you exactly how I feel about both these. The iPhone 6S Plus can do 4K on the back, but the iPhone 13 Pro can do 4K at 60 on the back and the front of both of this phone. So that's a really big thing to keep in mind. Now, in terms of the camera quality, I think this one will speak for itself. The iPhone 13 Pro is much, much better. You're getting way bigger lenses, and you're getting the ultra-wide sensor, and you're getting that telephoto lens. So that's a massive thing to keep in mind. I will tell you though, the camera UI is deceivingly similar between the two. You can see they pretty much have the same thing. You don't have cinematic mode or portrait mode on the iPhone 6S Plus. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. You pretty much have a bare bones architecture. I still think it's pretty decent. The iPhone 6S Plus was the first iPhone to bring 4K. So I think that's a really cool thing, and I'm really happy about that. But when it comes down to the raw camera quality, you're definitely getting, you guys know this, the camera quality on the iPhone 13 Pro is going to be far superior. It's going to have much more capability. It's going to be much more better looking. And if you're somebody who wants to utilize the best camera in an iPhone right now, the 13 Pro is definitely the better way to go. But I'm still really happy about the iPhone 6S Plus camera. And although I probably want to use it every day, I think it's actually not a horrible camera right now. So in terms of that covers up in the camera quality department. And to be honest, I think, to kind of sum up this video, the iPhone 13 Pro is by far the better phone. I think most of us know this by now. This phone is going to have much more capability than the iPhone 6S Plus. You pretty much have the best build quality on an iPhone, or one of the best build qualities of any phone right now, in any genre, to be honest. You're getting a way better camera setup, wireless charging, IP certification, way better performance, much longer lasting phone on the iPhone 13 Pro, much better build quality. The list goes on and on. ProMotion display, way better battery life on the iPhone 13 Pro as well. This is a solid upgrade, and I'm extremely happy about the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, on the iPhone 6S Plus side, I still think this phone is still, here to stay. The only reason I would even kind of recommend owning an iPhone 6S Plus is if it's the only iPhone you can pick up in your area or whatever. You don't have access to the internet, but then how are you watching this video? But on top of that, maybe you currently own this iPhone and you're probably just trying to see if the iPhone 13 Pro is worth the money. I think it's kind of worth the money, but going from an iPhone 6S Plus even to an iPhone 10 is a massive upgrade as well. So I would also recommend probably going to a 6S Plus to an iPhone 10 as well. You can't really go wrong with that update. You can save yourself a lot of money going that way too. But that's pretty much how I feel. I think the 6S Plus brought a lot to the time, but I think the 13 Pro is definitely a big upgrade coming from this phone. So in terms of that covers it up there. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.